morning, M.A.T. I'm DiMarzio, and this is my teaching self.
Well, if you want control, I'd gladly give it all to you. You can play the starring role. I'll sit back a little lazy and confused.
Throughout our class, we've tackled the question of what makes a good teacher, and what qualities we want to be evident in our own teaching. We've all started to choose the traits we like the best, but where did they come from? What moment planted the seed for the values we want to uphold in our classroom? For today, I'm going to investigate 3 of my own. Enthusiasm, kindness, and empathy. And empathy.
I feel fantastic, and I never felt as good as how I do right now, except for maybe when I think about...
For the past 7 years, I've worked at John J. Barnhart Boy Scout Camp in New London, North Carolina. Every week of the summer, we'd have hundreds of new Boy Scouts come in, and it was our job to make them feel at home. But some of them were away from home for the first time, and some of them were really scared, and they're all picking on each other, because that's all 11-year-old boys do. So that meant we had to be more embarrassing. We had to be bigger losers, and we had to prove to them that being yourself and being excited was not something to be embarrassed of. Stoicness. More like noicness. Dignity. More like So moral of the story, we had to have an outrageously excited personality around the campers. And you know, as I grew up, I realized I needed to do the same thing for the younger staff. It's kind of scary, but if you want to teach children, I think you have to make a fool out of yourself every once in a while. Let's move on. Be kind to everyone. Now you may be thinking to yourself, well yeah, that seems obvious, but it still came from somewhere. I for one had to learn how to be kind. And like most of the major changes I've made in my life, it was because of a girl. I won't enthrall you with the details, but she was something else. I remember it like it was 15 years ago. So one day after school, in 6th grade, I was hanging out with my friends under the pear tree, and we were just hanging out talking. And this kid, Jordan, walks up. Now, Jordan was a little bit younger than us, and he wasn't really cool. I mean, we weren't really cool either, but, you know, he was the kid that we made fun of, you know, and would always just kind of, like, give him a hard time. So he walks over, and he's like, hey, guys, and we're all like, hey, yeah. And then we'd probably say something mean to him, you know, maybe about his blue sleeves or something like that. Lame. And he walks over, and he gets something out of his book bag, but then he trips over something, and we laugh. We laugh. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. And then the most wonderful girl in the world walks over. And we're going to call her Lucy. And she walks up, and she sees Jordan. And she's sad. And she walks over to Jordan. And she's happy again. And she says, hey, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I think so. Thanks. And then he gets up. No, he said he gets up. There we go. And I'm all like, well, I didn't say this, but I was thinking, why did she ask him if he was okay? I mean, he just like fell over his book bag. He was clearly okay. Like, what was the point here? Was she just doing this because nobody else was being nice to him? Because we were being so mean? Huh. But then suddenly, my thought processes were interrupted by strange, bear-like X-Wings and aliens. And they're like, human, we have come to take over your puny world. And I was like, not if I have anything to do with it. Ha-ha! And then... And that's exactly how it happened. I wonder what she's doing now.
And you are not alone in this. As brothers we will stand and we'll hold your hand. Hold your hand.
Empathy is defined as the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. I've always kind of valued it, but never really put into words what it meant until I read the book Ender's Game. Ender's Game is a sci-fi novel that, among other things, dwells on the question of what makes a good leader. In the story, Ender is sent as a boy to a military school in space, where the brightest children in the world are being trained to fight off an impending alien invasion. There, he's met with constant confrontation and adversity, but Ender succeeds again and again because he always understands his enemy. He can anticipate their every move because he knows why they're making them. At one point, Ender says, "I think it's impossible to really understand somebody, what they want and what they believe, and not love them the way they love themselves." On the flip side, he showed the same empathy. On the flip side, he showed the same empathy to those fighting for him. Who wrote that sentence? This earned him their loyalty and respect and made him one of the greatest leaders in the history of the human race. Which is pretty cool, I guess. Read the book. You've got a month off starting Friday. Read the book. Anyway, the overarching lesson here is seek to understand your students, and they will thank you for it. So I had a job, a girl, and a book partly shape who I am. What I want you to take away from this is the desire to understand why you value what you do. Don't do it now. My presentation's not over yet. Do it during Jonathan's presentation. I think he's next. Of course, you might have volunteered to go first. In which case, fine presentation, Jonathan. Although you did take a lot of shots at Jeremy. Your grade, not mine. Anyway, thanks for watching.